Pistol shots ring out in a barroom night. Enter Patty Valentine from the upper hall. She sees a bartender in a pool of blood, cries out, they've killed my love. Here comes the story of the hurricane, the man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been champion of the world. Three bodies lying there does Paddy see, and another man named Bello moving around mysteriously. I didn't do it, he says, and he throws up his hands. I was only robbing the register, I hope you understand. I saw them leaving, he says, and he stops. One of us had better call up the cops. And so Paddy calls the cops, and they arrive on the scene with their red lights flashing in the hot New Jersey night. Meanwhile, somewhere in another part of town, Reuben Carter and a couple of his friends are out driving around. The #1 contender for the middleweight crown had no idea what kind of shit was about to go down when a cop pulled him over to the side of the road, just like the time before and time before that. In Patterson, that's just the way things go. If you're black, you might as well not show up on the streets unless you want to draw the heat. Alfred Ballo had a partner and had a rap for the cops. Him and Arthur Dexter Bradley were just out prowling around. He said he saw two men running out, they looked like middleweights. Jumped into a white car with out-of-state plates. As Paddy Valentine just nodded her head. Cop said, wait a minute boys, this one's not dead. So they took him to the infirmary. And although this man could hardly see, they told him he could identify the guilty man. Take him to a hospital and bring him upstairs. The wounded man looks up through his one dying eye. Said, what did you bring him in here for? He ain't the guy. Is this the story of the hurricane? The man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been champion of the world. 4 months later, the ghetto's in flame. Reuben's in South America, fighting for his name, while Arthur Dexter Bradley's still in the robbery game. The cops are putting the screws on him, looking for somebody to blame. Remember that murder that happened in a bar? Remember you said you saw the getaway car? Think you like to play ball with the law? Think it might have been that fighter that you saw running that night? Don't forget that you are white. Arthur Dexter Bradley said, I'm really not sure. Cop said a poor boy like you could really use a break. We got you for the motel job, we're talking to your friend Ballo. You don't have to go back to jail, now be a nice fellow. You'll be doing society a favor. That son of a bitch is brave and getting braver. We wanna put his ass in stir. We wanna pin this triple murder on him. He ain't no gentleman, Jim. Reuben could take a man out with just one punch, but he never did like to talk about it all that much. It's my work, he'd say, I do it for pay. And when it's all over, I'll just as soon go on my way up to some paradise where the trout streams flow and the air is nice, and ride a horse along the trail. But they took him to the jailhouse where they tried to turn a man into a mouse. All of Reuben's cards were marked in advance. The trial was a pig circus, he never had a chance. The judge made Reuben's witnesses drunkards from the slums. To the white folks he washed, he was a revolutionary bum. But to the black folks he was a crazy nigger. No one doubted that he pulled the trigger, though they could not produce the gun. The DA said he was the one who did the deed, and the old white jury agreed. Reuben Carter was falsely tried. The crime was murder one. Guess who testified? Bellow and Bradley, and they both boldly lied. And the newspapers went along for the ride. How can the life of such a man be in the palm of some fool's hand? To see him obviously framed, couldn't help but be ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game. Now all the criminals in their coats and their ties are free to drink martinis and watch the sunrise, while Reuben sits like Buddha in a 10-foot cell, an innocent man in a living hell. That's the story of the hurricane, but it won't be over till they clear his name and give him back the time he's done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been champion of the world.